Alright, so today I took 3 trades. I wanted to take 2, is like my goal. But I took 3, and I'll explain what we took and what we could have done better. A little review of the day, right? So, come into market open right quick, 9:30. Going into open today, this candle didn't close yet, so this is not very good to use, but we had this 4-hour imbalance here that we were running through at the time. So 4-hour bearish. Okay, so at the time we were disrespecting this, so it made me believe we were gonna see higher today and take out these highs here on the bigger time frame. So I was expecting this to get taken after we disrespect this, because we were holding this big imbalance here, expecting price to maybe want to just continue higher. It's been the theme as of recently. It's just been pumping and pumping and pumping, so I've been kind of very married to the bullish bias. And especially with yesterday, we created, we took the liquidity, we bounced up, holding 1 hour. I just did not expect this to be left here. If we would have taken this high, I could have been maybe bearish. And we had this 1 hour for value gap that I was expecting price to come into. Right here, we had the 1 hour. That was kind of my target for the day. Looking back, it's hard to be super bullish here. Besides the fact that we also had an SMT with ES took this low, NQ didn't, so that was bullish confluence. We ran the 1 hour for value gap, which was a 4 hour. More bullish confluence, so I was very bullish. I was looking for market to open and get some sort of, so this is kind of what we're looking at here. We're running up, so I was looking at some type of low to get taken, to then push price higher, maybe take this low. We had this fair value gap. I'm gonna get rid of this. We had this 15-minute that I was expecting maybe to hold. I was looking for some sort of SMT and then some type of setup to go long and target this, because I was very bullish at the time with the SMT, with the higher time frame draw. Just overall, it looked very bullish. That was a 30-minute bullish, I guess. I was expecting actually this 30-minute to get taken, and then maybe sweep that low. So then I was going to market open, pretty bullish. But I was expecting price maybe to not give me an entry. So going into the day, the morning starts, and what do we have? We get open right here. Why is it not working? Okay, yep, open. We literally just sell off straight away. And right away we put an SMT right here that ends up, we end up putting SMT. ES was stalling around here, so I was like, okay, that's the first thing we want to see. Take a little liquidity. We hold the 30-minute bullish. So at this time, I'm now looking for some sort of setup to then go long. So I don't like anything here because this is all just an imbalance. We have the SMT at the time, because what time is this? It's 9:40. Let me just look over here. 9:40. So we had the SMT here. So I was then looking at price, expecting, okay, so 30-minute hold, we took liquidity, we have SMT. I still was bullish. So now what do I see? Okay, I see a bullish fair value gap right here on the 1 minute. So if this gets respected and we push price higher and displace above the high, then I can maybe look for the longs, maybe get a 5-minute fair value gap up here, 15-minute something. But I couldn't just jump into longs here because it was just a straight leg down, and there was nothing to tell you getting longs targeting higher. So we wait to see what happens in this 1 minute, or if we continue to push price higher. So the 1 minute ends up holding here for a split second and fails to break higher. Could I have seen this inverse as a potential short? I personally wouldn't, because that's what ends up happening is this gets inversed and it continues lower. I think that's kind of hindsight. It's kind of a gamble to try and chase price, unless if I was bearish. If I was bearish, then this wouldn't be a bad trade at all because I could target this low, but I had no reason. I didn't have any bearish bias going in today. So, I mean, I was bullish, so why would I take a bearish trade here? But that's kind of something I saw. Maybe that could have been a bearish trade because we were in this 5-minute imbalance here. We were holding the 5-minute, failing to displace higher. We had then respected the 4-hour. Because the 4-hour closes at 10, so we were holding this 4-hour imbalance, just displacing lower. So the 5-minute was holding. So I could have used the 5-minute to 1 minute, got in here. Could have got in here. Target stops there or close below, and then first take profit, second take profit. But I wasn't bearish on the day, so that's really more hindsight driven trade with not great risk. And it could have rebalanced here before going lower. So this is just not very high confluence. You're gonna get stopped to break even a lot. You're gonna get stopped out a lot. So price then continues. So this SMT no longer really matters because price continues to just rip down. We end up taking this low now. Let me look at ES. So that was London low right here. We end up sweeping London low, and we continue the dump, and we continue to dump, and then we still dump. And look at that, we jump 180-ish points. We take out the low, and now we've created SMT still here. We created SMT again, but now this time with this low. So we had SMT, bullish SMT here. ES took the lows, and I was still bullish, even though this big move happens. Looking back, after all, like 180 point move, I know that price is not gonna be efficient, but that's where I can improve and not always be looking to take trades, because that's something I needed to learn. Is when we get a big move like this off open, the rest of the day, especially the rest of the morning, but if not the rest of the day, is gonna be very choppy, which we ended up seeing. But then we still are looking for trades, so we're holding, we're stalling. We take the low one more time. So I'm thinking, okay, great, this might be it. This might be the move. This is where the move back up, the at least rebalance price. So this was my first entry, which was the inverse of this 1 minute for value gap. Not the greatest trade, but we did have a massive leg down. We did sweep liquidity one last time, no displacement lower, and inverse. I went to stop break even when it took this high. I was going to break even, so we jumped in. We were targeting here. I mean, we were targeting an aggressive move up, maybe take profits to this high. We get in, and the trade ticks to the break-even point, and then we come back down and stop me out. I kind of had a bad feel here. I hesitated to get in, which I shouldn't. If I'm going to hesitate on this trade, I have to get in here, because then the break-even is too close. I hesitate, and I get stopped out really quick. But I would have got stopped out regardless, so it doesn't matter even if I traded perfectly there. That trade I don't mind. I just think it's a little bit too eager to just play to trade. I think I was just too happy to get any trade, and I just was trying to make money and forcing it. But I'm still bullish at the time. I'm just waiting to see what happens. So now we made this 1 minute fair value gap, and we made an inverse. So now, okay, I see this, and I see price respected again. So I'm like, okay, we respect it. We put an equal high here. This is where I take my second trade. I'm really confident that the equal high here is liquidity, and I'm really confident that we're bullish. I'm expecting us to keep going higher. So I then, let me get rid of this stuff. And I don't like trading this because it's such a small, price is fractal, and this is like a small market maker buy model, but the risk, it's just not worth it, because like realistically, unless price just shoots up to my take profits, I'm not going to make much profit. But I entered off this fair value gap, went to stops and break even at this high. So we tap in, and I think I hesitate a little bit anyways there still. We get in, and it goes to here, so I go in and break even. Realistically, that's where you could scale it all, because you don't really, expect more in here. This is the model. You're trading the internal model, so you got to take profits on the internal model. But it just kind of skewed the risk. It was just such a small move. I shouldn't have taken it. That was a FOMO trade, hoping that price would just bless me and go all the way up. That was my second trade, so it's still break even on the day because it comes down and gets me a break even. And now I'm just like, okay, let me take a step back. Let me not trade anymore. That was my plan to not trade, and I'm just watching price. I'm still bullish. We then come down again. We make equal lows here. Hold this for value gap again. Struggle through here. Break above, but struggle. I mean, all these wicks, I'm not really too confident. We didn't sweep any liquidity. We didn't soup anything, so I'm not sure. There's no real entry. We we keep moving. But at the time, the reason, what time was this? 10:50. The reason why I like this, the long still, and I was very bullish, is because we had an SMT with ES here, another bullish SMT. We're holding the fair value gap. So I'm starting to become very confident that this low, these equal lows, are going to get revisited and become soup. Turtle soup for a long opportunity. So I was expecting these lows, since we had the SMT, since I was bullish, since we had this big sell-off, SMT on the bigger time frame, I'm expecting as soon as these lows get taken, big reversal to at least take these highs out and then continue price higher. That was kind of, so then I was like, okay, I'm done trading for the day, but you know what? If I see this is a pretty good setup for me. If we can get that to happen, then I'll jump into a trade. So I'm waiting. There's nothing. I won't touch anything. Even if it jumps without me, it inverts this 1 minute. This 1 minute right here gets inversed right here. Does not matter to me because we didn't take these lows. These are still here. If the buy orders are A+, it's going to come down and get those. So then we have 11:30. So then we just wait, and I'm like, okay, once I see that, I can take a trade. We come down again. We inverse this 1 minute again, but I know longs are still not ready, and we're just building the liquidity. I then see price start moving, and I was like, okay, maybe I'm going to not get an entry. That's okay, because I was expecting it to run quick now, but I was like, that's a little bit weird that we haven't taken the lows here. So then the lows, and then it starts coming back down again, making another intermediate high here along the way. Coming back here, and then we finally go down. And I wanted to see, there's only a few ways I'd enter this. If we came down, took the liquidity, which is what we did, and then created a fair value gap through here, which we do on the 2 minute, but have no displacement. See, I didn't want to see this wick, I didn't want to see this come down here. I wanted to see us just sweep this and go back up. So we displaced a little bit, but we failed to continue lower, and then we make this 2 minute imbalance. I like the 2 minute a lot better than the 1 minute on in Q when I'm trying to find a inverse setup. So we have an inverse fair value gap, and then I'm looking at price. Okay, as soon as this closes above, I had already made up my mind that this is my last trade of the day, and that I'm okay if I lose the trade and if I win. That was my idea. So I knew that I'd get in off the break. We get the break on the next candle. We close right here. So I jumped in right away because I knew exactly what I was looking for. My first take profit would have been 27 points at this high. My next take profit would have been at this high. So 98 points would have been a monster. My stop originally started here, 25 points. So I was risking $250 on 5 micros. I accepted the risk. And this was my break-even point. So on the live executions, you'll see this is exactly what I was looking for. We had soup. I don't like taking the soup entry. I like to see a confirmation by taking an inverse. I jump in off the inverse. I either get out on a close below the fair value gap, that inverse. But since we had a fair value gap here, I didn't want to do that. So then we see the next candle. We go into some drawdown. But we pretty much hold the inverse. I still like this trade. And I was going to go break even here. So we'll go back to the 1 minute. So we hold, dips down even lower, but I'm still like having to just manage my emotions because that's the biggest thing is I need to manage my emotions in a trade. Setup's great. This is definitely a good liquidity point, the target, but I'm waiting for my break-even point. We trade, we make this fair value gap, we hold the fair value gap, we press up, and as soon as we get above this high, so we put in this high here, I'm going to go back actually. So we create a fair value gap on the 1 minute right here. So I'll mark that out. As soon as we make this fair value gap on the 1 minute, I'm not concerned with going to break even yet because we still have reasons to retrace. We come down, we fill the 1 minute, and we get bullish move out, going above the old high. So at this point, I'm expecting this to just get ran, and I'm really expecting I can put my stop at break even and get away with it. And I was also kind of anxious in the trade. It keeps going up again. It takes out the high again. So my stop's now at break even, or like a point above. And price ends up coming down and stopping me out. Maybe I was too aggressive with going to break even, but these bodies right here, it was like a tick away. So it would have been better if I just waited for here to go break even. So looking back at the trade, you go back to the 2 minute, and the trade's still valid here. Okay, we're holding a 2 minute. If I didn't move my stop loss, I would get out and close below this or close below this 2 minute. So we come back down. We come down again. Okay, now we're starting to test this fair value gap still. We're still holding it. Okay, cool. We just hold it again. And now we're starting to we're just holding it. It's a lot of chop. And this is when I would be out because we closed below this fair value gap. We closed below this inverse. I would have lost on this trade. So even though my stop started here, when it goes up positive like this, and then you have all this to hold the trade above, there's really no reason price did this in terms of what I trade off of. So I would have no reason to hold through this. So I probably would have taken a loss on this trade. But then it's very interesting to see how efficient it is. When it keeps going, I'm gonna see, was there an SMT on NQNES 1132? 1132. This will be pretty interesting. Ooh. The low on 1131 is 70.75. 70.75. So ES actually makes perfect equal lows. So it doesn't even create an SMT there. Price just reverses, and the efficiency runs to break even. This is where I should have waited to go break even if I didn't get stopped out. This would have been the first scale point, and then it runs perfectly to the first TP, which would have been nice 30-something points. And then it never continues really. It just kind of accumulates the rest of the day. I really don't see much opportunity. And it just kind of goes like this. So looking at this trade, this was a good trade. I took 3 trades, stuck to my rules for the most part. And looking back, I think the lack of efficiency is just because we had a 180-point sell-off at open, took out the daily objective. Price normally isn't effective there, and I think I was forcing trades. So I think that's something I need to work on and learn, is that I need to not look for trades when we have a big move, because typically price needs to accumulate and build structure and all that. So I kind of think I was just a little bit eager to trade and make money. But all in all, not a terrible day. Saw the market all right. Could I have seen anything for the move to the downside? Personally, this high getting swept, delivering out of that fair value gap. I mean, I just wasn't short bias today, and that's fine. You're not going to have the bias perfect every day. People are going to have different biases. I thought the draw was to this fair value gap. Maybe I was over analyzing the SMT from here to here, and expecting price to just be overly bullish. Because if I go on the 15-minute, maybe I was just overly bullish, and I didn't account for the fact that we had been breaking structure heavy to the downside, displacing through all these lows, not just sweeping them. Because if we were bearish from here all the way through here, we come down, okay, we break through the highs. If we were taking this high, I probably would have been a lot more bearish today. But since we didn't take this high, I was just really bullish, and I think I was just super married to my bullish bias, and got greedy after seeing that the market moved a lot early and didn't want to just step away. I wanted to try and find a trade, and there was nothing really to see in the market today, and I kind of just forced opportunity. But all in all, not the worst. That's it for my review of my trades today.